The year is 2018. Nations are divided, paranoia runs rampant, and as soon as you think you're safe, facts become subjective.
You are listening to Conspiracy Facts.
Yo, what's the name of your podcast?
Conspiracy Facts.
Sick conspiracy facts.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to Conspiracy Facts, the podcast all about conspiracies, all 100% true, and a little bit of comedy and satire. Welcome to Pokemon Sapphire. It's satire, guys. Please don't take any of this too seriously. Today, we have a special guest, our first guest, Aaron Ansuini. Aaron, hello.
Hey, I'm the first guest. I feel so honored.
Yeah, This is actually episode 2 of the podcast, so you got in early.
Oh, I like that. Hi, hello. Welcome to Ty's podcast.
Thank you. Aaron, you probably know him from places such as all social medias and his own podcast, You're So Brave, which, fun fact, I was actually the first guest on that, right?
Oh, it's true. Oh, we've come full circle now.
Full circle. That is so cool. Very cool. Well, Aaron, I'm very excited to have you.
Thanks.
We're going to be talking about some really spooky conspiracies today. These are all LGBT conspiracies in the name of Pride Month.
I'm here for it. I'm all about the conspiracies and the gays, all that good stuff. Not just kidding, but conspiracies that's where my heart's at. So I am not prepared with any conspiracy theories. So hopefully you'll be providing those. Otherwise, I could pull some out of a hat. I'm never at a loss for theories.
Perfect. Yeah, we can come up with something. No, luckily I do have a few lined up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you want, we can just jump right into that.
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, I do. If you want to go real deep with the conspiracy theories, I've actually been doing a lot of Googling on flat earthers because I want to understand where are they at? Where's their heart at? Where's their mind at? So we could always jump into that if we want to go balls to the wall.
Hell yeah. I'm about some flat earth shit.
Hell yeah.
That goes deep.
It really does. You'd think how much proof could they possibly have for something that seems so ridiculous? Then you're like, oh my god, the earth is flat now. But you're kind of thinking oh well, yeah, that's a lot of information.
Yeah, it's wild. And just within the last few weeks, all of the different YouTubers that are tweeting yeah, flat earth is real. I believe in flat earth. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a thing now. They watched that Shane Dawson
video. Exactly. And they're like, the earth is flat. You can't, 9/11 was an inside job on the flat earth.
They're all wearing tinfoil hats now.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So the first conspiracy that I found, the conspiracy fact that I found, is about LGBT monster icons. So throughout this podcast, I think from here on out, instead of saying LGBT, just so I don't have to recite the entire alphabet, I'm just going to say queer and use that as a blanket term. For anyone who identifies as LGBT but doesn't identify as queer, I'm sorry, I apologize. But just to make things easier, that way we know.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot easier to pronounce and to follow, so.
Yeah, exactly. And then I don't feel like I'm leaving letters out because truly it's LGBTQIA+, and God, we only have an hour here, so.
We could only say the acronym 3 times and the podcast is over.
Exactly. So the first one is queer icons, specifically of the monster/horror antagonist variety. So I'm sure we're all pretty much aware of the Babadook becoming a gay icon. And now this started from a picture that showed the Babadook on Netflix, and it was listed in the LGBT section. And a lot of people think that was photoshopped. It's not confirmed. It might have just been a mistake, or maybe it wasn't a mistake.
I see.
Because to a lot of people, the Babadook actually represents the struggle and the hardships that, young queer people face or any aged queer people face when coming out in a less than totally accepting family.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't know much about the Babadook, and I'm definitely not Googling it right now. Go on.
yeah, so the movie itself, some people say that it's about dealing with grief. And basically it comes from this children's book, and it's this kind of entity that sort of comes into your home and like makes itself seen. And the more you acknowledge it, or the more you try to ignore it, the harder it is to get rid of. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it, but a lot of people on the internet have drawn parallels between the Babadook and the gay experience, mostly as a joke. But this is the Conspiracy Facts podcast, not the Conspiracy Jokes podcast, and we're here to talk about some facts. Yeah,
that's right. Also, I just skimmed through an article, so I get it. I kind of remember what the Babadook is now, and I understand. I'm seeing the relation that's been drawn between the two. Totally getting it. It's kind of like the elephant in the room, but like the demon forms. Like I got it.
Absolutely.
I'm all up to speed.
Okay, good. So that was that, and most people were fine leaving it at that. But then It came out, the movie It, Stephen King's It. And then everyone on the internet collectively decided that Pennywise and the Babadook are a couple and that they're both gay. And that didn't have as much backing as much as fan art, but that's cool. It's mostly internet lore. It's not confirmed, but sure. I mean, the same way that you can
explain. That would explain so much of what I just found in a quick Google search. I'm like, why the fuck? Like, what? It all makes sense. How deep does it go?
Yeah,
wasn't ready.
So,
all right.
In light of that, I was thinking that, yeah, Babadook is gay, confirmed. It is his lover, mostly confirmed. But what other horror movie characters are, LGBT that we haven't discussed yet, or they haven't come out per se. So I thought we would get into that, because those are the hardest facts that exist, my man.
Well, do they have to be like from a horror movie, or like could it be the villain from the Powerpuff Girls? Because like,
oh, definitely. That devil monster with the lobster and the tutu.
The one with the heels and the makeup on. I just have some feelings. Or like the villain from Kim Possible, the girl who's green.
Oh yeah.
Shiko, she's a lesbian icon.
She's as gay as they come.
Hell
that is absolutely true. In fact, I would even argue that every character in the Powerpuff Girls universe is queer to some extent. Like,
I mean, what's the name of the
Buttercup?
guy who?
Oh,
no,
Mojo Jojo.
Buttercup. Butch icon.
She is so butch.
Why are you coming for the whole town? I meant the laboratory, the guy who made the Powerpuff Girls. Which, like, what were you trying to make, sir? But yeah, Professor...
Whatever the fuck.
That professor.
Is his name Professor
he lives alone.
X? Or is that just...
He lives alone, all right. And he couldn't have bio kids, right? Because, like, I'm going to say maybe he lives alone, but maybe he's just, like, in a closeted gay relationship. So it's, like, his version of, like, having a surrogate, like, carry his seed. I don't know what word I'm looking for.
His chemical X?
Yeah. You did. That's it. You got me. So yeah, maybe it's like it's a metaphor, you see, for how the queers need to go through the medical system.
Wow.
To conceive.
It's about all the gatekeeping.
Exactly. So he had to make his own children in his basement because of all the gatekeeping.
Wow. That's a fact, if I've ever heard one.
It is. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Hard facts.
Damn.
What were you saying about the mayor?
The mayor? Well, I don't know. He's got a big mustache.
I have a theory.
And he's always calling girls to like come save him. What's your theory? I'm sorry.
The mayor.
You don't have a theory. You have a fact.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I have a fact to serve. The mayor, all right, walks around, but like, have you noticed that he's a little short in stature?
He's trans.
He's trans. The mayor's FTM.
Nice.
Proved. It's just been busted. Right
oh
here.
Man, yeah. I hope nobody hears that and like doesn't like the fact that immediately upon hearing short, I said he's trans.
Oh, that's where I was going with it though. And like for anyone who's upset, fam, I'm the shortest one of our friend group. If you've ever seen me and Ty together, he could lift me up in the air. So
That's so sweet.
I'm poking fun at my own insecurities. Self-deprecating humor is always in style. So and there's nothing wrong with being short. We didn't say like, he's short and a criminal. Like there's nothing wrong with being short. It's all right.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, but I think definitely because the big ridiculous mustache and the height.
Which overcompensating for his masculinity, he didn't have facial hair for years, and now he just like wants that mustache. I think he's bald. Is he bald?
Yep. There's another trans thing.
There you go. Testosterone makes you bald. It doesn't. Don't panic. It's okay.
Oh no.
Genetics make you bald, not testosterone.
I'm so scared.
It's all right. Same. I'm on finasteride and popping this shit like it's like Tic Tacs.
Oh man.
No baldness for me.
That's awesome. See, yeah, exactly. So Powerpuff Girls get fucked. That case was popped right open. All the facts. We got...
Oh, come on. Wait, before we drop the Powerpuff Girls, wasn't their logo a fucking rainbow? Wasn't that their whole thing that they fly around and there's rainbows?
Yes. You are so right. Oh
guys,
my
the facts,
God.
Folks, the facts are making themselves here. We're just the reporters, okay?
So the creators of the Powerpuff Girls wanted a gay protagonist to like artificially create his own children, one of which is a very butch lesbian. And
correct.
The mayor of the town in which he lives is a trans man who calls upon these children to fight off criminals.
You are correct.
Yeah, and the criminals are also varying in different levels of queer and things.
Yeah, like I feel like the devil character that they have. I mean, if you want to get into some like deep shit right there, just real quick, real fast, it would kind of be like this caricature of trans women, which is like they're fighting this caricature that we have of trans women being portrayed in the media, that like they're these like devils in heels and like cross-dressing men, which they're not. So the Powerpuff Girls are here to fight that image that we're being fed of trans women. That's what's
holy
happening.
Fucking shit.
That's right. I'm a
that is
I have my
amazing.
PhD in nothing.
Wow, bro, we are enlightened today.
That's a bright day.
That's awesome. That is so good. So there are definitely so many characters that are LGBT that I think going back to horror, we could say, fuck. I mean, basically any of the iconic horror, like slasher, dudes. Michael Myers, for instance.
All right.
He, well, first of all, his first kill was he was triggered by his sister having sex, and that's what ultimately got her killed. I mean, he was like a little 8-year-old kid or something, grabbed the clown mask, went upstairs and stabbed her to death after she got boned down.
Oh shit.
And he uses a butcher knife, which is like kind of phallic, and he uses that, it's kind of an intimate exchange when you're stabbing that into a person's gut. And he's always stabbing lots of young women, but never really feeling the need to kill, is never satisfied. So maybe he's like a closeted gay man, and that's why he was, so triggered by his sister, and then he has to kill all these young women. It's almost reminiscent of like my middle school years. It was a little less extreme, but I like had a few different boyfriends because I was convinced that eventually there would be one that like I would be into. Spoiler alert, that didn't happen. But maybe it's kind of like a metaphorical thing that it's representing that
he's like projecting. Trying to wrap my head around that. I would have brought a swimsuit. I didn't know we were going this deep. So
he's like experimenting. So it's supposed to represent. So it's not like literal, but the act of him killing is supposed to be like the act of him, maybe having sex with these women, and it's not quite working for him.
Oh, so the killing is a metaphor. Oh, okay. Like Oh, all right, I get it. I guess so. Like the end of each relationship or the end of each like experimenting with women, it's like it comes to an end, it dies. Okay, got it. I'm back. I'm up to speed.
Perfect. Yeah, I couldn't find a way to really get that one out. It's not your fault.
No, so I wasn't ready. Now I am.
Be enlightened.
I don't know that many horror films. The ones that I tend to watch are usually the ones like based on a true story and stuff. And like I don't know much about 80s horror except like It, basically, and
Nice.
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh yeah.
That's-
Knife
yeah,
hands.
those are the ones.
Slicey boy.
Exactly. Freddy Krueger,
Yeah.
Melty Face. Yeah,
Melty
in the
Face.
dreams. That's the one. But I haven't.
Dream Daddy.
I don't know. He's wearing horizontal stripes. I don't think he could be a gay man. So I just.
That's true. And a fedora, which yikes.
Oh, come on. He has to be a nice guy's finish last. He has a fedora. Come on. And he has like, he's clearly like spiteful and holds a grudge.
Mm-hmm. His
So,
neck
yeah,
beard is just growing out through like the burns on his neck.
And the burns are for every time he's been turned down from a woman and been put in the friend zone. It's a sick burn. That's why he's burned. I got it.
That's
It
good.
makes sense.
That's a good one. Yeah, I guess I should have. I forget that like my horror movie obsession is like kind of specific to me, and not everybody just knows so many things about old horror movies.
It's like common knowledge.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah, you know Michael Myers' first kill his older sister when she was supposed to be babysitting him. You're like, okay, Ty, take it down a notch.
You give me like the timestamp in the movie. It's like, yeah, sure. All right, cool. I'm here for it. It's
Okay.
all right. You could go with horror movies, and I'll try not to go back to the Powerpuff Girls, but I'll do my best.
What about Scream? Have you seen Scream?
Yeah, with the long mask and it's in the house.
Exactly.
Coming
so
from the house, yeah.
I think that might be two different movies. The Long Mask is definitely
just kidding.
Scream, but the
Yeah,
call
the
is
long mask.
yeah. Ghostface is what they call him in the business. At the end of that movie, spoiler alert, it ended up being, what was it, like a group of dudes who was trying to kill off everyone, including their girlfriends. If that doesn't scream like closeted gay dudes, I don't know what does.
Oh, like gay cult.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, what was it? Scary Movie 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whichever fucking one, because it's hard to say which one. One of them actually kind of caught this and made a joke about it, and like ended up having the characters of like their Scream parody being gay. But I think that that's like an actual fact.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, not that far-fetched.
And Final Destination. Have you seen that?
I think so. Just there's so many of them.
Basically, any of them works, because my theory is that Death is a lesbian, and that's all I got.
Oh, Death is a lesbian. You got me there. No arguing with that. I only know the one. I think there was one where they died on a roller coaster. Is that the one where the roller coaster?
Oh, that's
flew
my
out?
favorite fucking one. Final Destination 3.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I saw with the really bad like CGI. By the time I was like, oh my god, it's so how'd they do all that?
Yeah. Oh, it's wild.
Have you seen The Sixth Sense?
Oh my god, I love that movie. The only M. Night Shyamalan movie worth a shit.
Nice. Yeah, those are the kind of horror movies I'm always into. The like spooky, ghosty,
Psych thriller.
hunty kind of ones. Yeah. So
Hell yeah.
here's my theory.
Yes.
Of course, not a theory. It's a fact. It's a metaphor. You see. So he sees dead people. He does not. He in fact has an extraordinary gaydar. One may even say supernatural abilities to detect homosexuality in the heteros. So, and he's like, I see them, and like they don't know that they're dead. It's just, but that's a metaphor. They don't know that they're gay, but he does.
Oh my god.
He does,
That's
and he's
amazing.
there to lead the way to sexual enlightenment. That's what he's there for.
And when Bruce Willis was dead at the end of Sixth Sense, that was actually him coming to terms with his sexuality and realizing he was gay, and he left his wife. He didn't actually die. He got a divorce to be with a man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
See, and like it happens when he sees her watching their wedding video, And that's when he realizes, like, I was never in love with her. I love men. And that was it. And he like sinks down against the wall, and it's just, he sees why his marriage has failed. It's as if he's died romantically in the relationship. Yeah. You see?
Aaron, that's so good. That's amazing.
I'm a philosopher. What can I say?
You are. This is so good. Jurassic Park. Have you seen Jurassic
That's a horror
Park?
movie? Yeah,
it's a
thriller.
monster movie. I mean,
Yeah. True, it is.
all the dinosaurs are lesbians. That's got to be a fact because they were all girls. So
They were?
yeah, so that was kind of part of they're not supposed to reproduce because they're all girls, but they mixed them in with some kind of like rainforest frog DNA that like this rainforest frog could reproduce on its own, and that's why they ended up laying eggs, because nature always finds a way.
Yeah, and I mean, like actually, scientifically speaking, two people who have eggs as their reproductive, like as their genetic material, could reproduce to produce another human being that also has a uterus and produces eggs. So they basically can't produce, they can't make someone who would have like a penis and balls, but they could make more of them, basically. So essentially eradicating the penis ball type of humans. So yeah, see that's the gay agenda.
Nice. Oh, the gay agenda. We're gonna have to. We'll get to that. Let's pocket that one and remember that for later.
All right, keep that in my back pocket.
Definitely. So yeah, Jurassic Park. All of the dinosaurs are lesbians. Excuse me. What about you? Any other theories? Any other facts about characters?
I'm kind of just trying to remember the horror movies I have seen. So like the Blair Witch Project and like Amityville Horror.
The witch is trans.
I'm sorry, come again.
The witch from the Blair Witch Project is trans.
Do go on. I must know.
Oh fuck. See, that was the one that I just kind of said. Much like Death is a Lesbian, I was just.
So you haven't. The research hasn't been published yet, but right. Coming soon is my hypothesis.
You know, in the actual movie, I saw this analysis about that film where basically there was never any witch, and it was just like those guys setting up the girl to kill her, and it was really cool. I wish I could remember it and go find it again, but it was like, I don't know, it was wild.
That sounds wild. So like the two guys are setting up the girl to kill the only other girl, is what you're saying?
I think there's two guys and a girl. It's been so long since I've seen the movie, but from what I understood, like the witch was completely made up, and the people who went out into the woods to like, one, help her film, and two, like help her navigate, barely knew her, and it was just like kind of a weird situation for them to go put themselves in from the get-go. And so it was sort of like the analysis says that like there's like this underlying kind of murder mystery to the film, and that's what it's all about. And it's not actually like, it's not supernatural at all. It's literally just a big setup, and the people, like, it was intended to be that way, but most people didn't get it. And I definitely didn't get it, but I also don't know if that's true or not.
Got it. Interesting. I'm probably not going to go back and watch it because I just remember like having like severe vertigo from the camera swinging around, and I was like, I'm going to vomit. No, not here for that. What other...
Jaws? Have you seen Jaws?
Yeah, I saw Jaws, but I think I was like an infant, but I get the gist of it. There's a shark.
Yeah, so the shark is named Bruce, and I would like to argue that Bruce is non-binary because gender is a social construct, and
sharks are not part of society.
Yeah, well,
they're just outliers.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really part of our society. They don't grow up here like being gendered, so they're just kind of hanging out in the water, like eating
in the shark
trash.
society.
Yeah.
And
I guess we would have to.
Has overcome gender. Is what you're saying?
I would like to think so. In a perfect world, I would like to think so. So I think that all sharks, hopefully, are just without gender.
Okay, what if Jaws were a story. All right, we're going to go back to metaphors because that's what I'm here for. I'm actually a philosopher. I have a PhD in absolutely nothing. So what if Jaws were a metaphor for the terror that Shark Week, get it, Shark Week, has for trans men? And of course, trigger warning anatomy for those who don't know what Shark Week is. It's what plenty of trans men use to refer to their cycle when it arrives, for trans men to still get their cycle. So it's a metaphor of the devastation that could have on a trans man's psyche when it arrives. That's
very interesting. And so that being the case, because you do kind of have this back and forth between, I think he was the mayor of the town, the coastal town, and then also the sheriff, sort of arguing about, like, should we acknowledge the shark and take care of it, or should we ignore it and act like absolutely nothing is wrong so that we can make money off of tourists? And I think that definitely goes back to a lot of the trans male experience with dealing with, any kind of issue related to our anatomy, reproductive wise.
Yeah. Dealing with Shark Week, it's literally the same thing.
Holy
shit. It's not a giant fish, but like, is this one person's gonna be like, sharks aren't fish? Actually, are they fish? I don't know. I don't trust
They
me
look
enough.
like fish, so that's a new fact. Sharks are fish. Fact.
This is shark fact. Myth busted. But yeah, it's exactly that. You're like, do I deal with this or do I pretend it's not happening? That's that was deep. That hit me somewhere. Struck a chord.
Damn. The Wolfman. There's one that's, I mean, just blatantly obvious and extremely progressive for 1952. The Wolfman is obviously a trans man dealing with his gender identity and the decision to come out and transition. So you have this man who has this sort of, there's something inside of him that he can't quite articulate, but he feels it very strongly, kind of pulling him. And then there's this, he understands it, and he decides to sort of let it take over him and let it, run its course. And then he has this physical change where it's like kind of sudden in comparison to his entire life, with trans men. Transition, like 5 years is a very short time for being
it's very
something
hard
else.
And fast.
Yes,
especially like the first year. It's just such. If we're looking at like medical transition, for example, which people don't have to do, but if they do, it is quite a dramatic change in a short amount of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
of course,
that's kind of
the hair,
right.
Furriness. Yeah.
That's represented through like his first night of transforming into a werewolf. He's growing hair. He's got all these sudden bodily changes. He's very muscular and just angry and and animal-like, I think.
Tag yourself.
True. I mean, I think there's no argument on that one.
I think that one proves itself. That it's not even, we didn't even do anything. We just told you about a movie you had never heard of. So
Hell yeah. I think they remade The Wolfman. I know they did, but I think it was in like 2009 or 2010. And it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I remember, I think I watched the old like OG Wolfman in a cabin somewhere on VHS. Like not long ago, like, yeah.
It's
and
like
Halloween,
aesthetic.
my friends were like, yeah. My friends like, let's all go to a cabin and watch scary movies. And we're like, wow, this was a mistake, TM. But like, I'm pretty sure we ended up watching Wolfman because I was like, this doesn't look terrifying. And it wasn't. So
there you go.
Yeah, I think that's how I know Wolfman.
It was a good flick. I used to like, really embarrassing story about me from when I was in middle school. I used to be like obsessed with werewolves for like a solid year, and I don't know where it came from.
Was it a Twilight thing or like no?
No. See, I didn't like Twilight, but I was really into werewolves. I think maybe it was like a trans thing. Like deep down, I knew,
could be.
And I was just like, I don't know. But yeah, I watched I've seen pretty much every werewolf piece of media that exists. So That's why I know
Interesting.
that. Yeah, I don't just know the dates of all of horror movies, like when they came out. I just know The Wolfman was 1952 because it might even be 1951, so maybe I don't even know it. Fake fan.
Wow, fake fan. I can't believe you. Come back to me when you're a wolf man, you wolf boy.
Wolf boy. Do you even wear a silver necklace to keep you
No, I
from
don't think so.
transforming in the full
Miss
moon?
me with that weak shit.
Blue's Clues. Blue is MTF, and
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss that horror film? Was that recent?
yeah, it's pretty horrifying if you think about it. I'm pretty sure it's all just like a bad trip on whatever his name, Steve or Joe, on his end.
I mean, what happened to Steve or Joe? He changed. There was a different person.
He
and
went to
now-
college.
Oh, he did?
That's what they
I
said.
heard-
I think he
I heard it's because he lost his hair.
I-
Like the actor.
I thought he actually had like a drug addiction and that's why he had to quit.
I mean, that shit's pretty bleak. Have you heard about what happened to the person who voiced Elmo?
No. What happened to Elmo?
Oh. We're gonna give a quick trigger warning. Assault, potential child assault. So he was brought to court on claims, I think, of child assault, and then they ended up retiring him as the voice of Elmo, and now it's someone else. But I don't know if he was ever actually convicted or if he was proven innocent or whatever. But yeah, that's some pretty bleak shit right there.
Fuck.
That's what happened to Elmo. Yeah,
Damn, Elmo. Get it together.
yeah, shit, huh?
That kind of like really puts a damper on the whole tickle me Elmo
Oh
craze.
god.
Yikes.
Yikes!
Big
TM.
yikes.
Big.
We're
Yes,
gonna
thick yikes.
the thickest yikes. We're gonna take it back a notch. On that note, I would like to transition into our ad section of the podcast. If you don't want to hear that, skip forward about 30 seconds to a minute. If you're not a bad person, then listen to it. Shit. And we'll see you on the other side. All right, guys. This is the part of the podcast where I tell you about all of our awesome sponsors. So first up today, we have my Patreon. And on my Patreon, there is a podcast tier where you can get exclusive podcast content and the MP3 download links to all of the podcast episodes. There is also my merch. That's another way that you can support the podcast if you enjoy it. Exclusive Ty Turner merch is up. It's dope. We got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got stickers, we got long sleeve tees, and they are there and ready to ship anywhere in the world. So go check those things out if you're interested in that. And thank you for listening. Let's get back to I'm really fucking this up. Sorry. I'm new to this. Let's get back to our regular scheduled programming. And we are back from our messages, and we are going to be discussing more queer conspiracies. Up next in the lineup is Gay Chemicals.
I'm sorry. What?
So,
I love that band. Gay Chemical Romance.
Gay Chemical Romance. I can't believe they broke up.
R.I.P.
Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist from... Oh, fuck. I can't even remember the name of his show, but it's something ridiculous. Do you know who Alex Jones is?
It doesn't ring a bell at all. Are they a YouTuber or like a podcaster?
I think he does YouTube. Let me just Google him really quick. That way I really know what's going on here.
Oh, shit, my cat.
Okay, it's called InfoWars. And
InfoWars?
it's called InfoWars.
Okay.
I'm sure you've seen something from it. He says the most ridiculous stuff that is not conspiracy facts. They're all theories.
Wow, that sounds so unfamiliar. I've never heard of something like that at all. Yeah, go
I know,
on.
it's fucking lame. Oh, fuck.
Foreign
It's fucking
concept.
square. Alex Jones says that Obama put chemicals in the water that turned the frogs gay.
Okay.
But we know here on Conspiracy Facts that that's only half of the facts, because there is so much more to it, and we're going to dive into it.
Go on. I must know about the gay frogs.
Yeah. Okay, so this is something that apparently a lot of people actually believe, is that...
What?
I don't remember the name of the chemical, but it was some sort of pesticide that they were putting on plants, and then it ran off into the water, and they were thinking that it caused sexual deformalities in frogs, which to them was, I guess, it made the frogs gay, and they thought it was making people gay, and that's why suddenly there's so many gay people.
Suddenly.
All of a sudden, they just all showed up.
The awakening.
Yeah. They were drinking that water, and that's not a fact.
Oh shit! Sorry, my cat is awake now.
He's rambunctious. He's been drinking some chemicals.
He gets one more chance and then he's kicked out. I think he's just very passionate about gay frogs. Did they observe any gay behavior among the frogs? Is there like someone dedicated to this? Is there a gay measurement scale for frogs? I'm here for the facts, boy.
Yeah, I think the scale they use is they put the gaydar up to the frogs, and like depending on, they have to use a translator depending on if the frog is saying something like, they'll ask it some questions, you know, kind of like, I'm blanking on the word, but just another word for it might be like to quiz it. Vetting. Okay, yeah, they're gay vetting the frogs is what they're doing. And they'll ask it a few questions, and if it says something like, yes, yeah, exactly, that's how they know. And so then they'll mark that one down as a gay frog. And the straight frogs would say something like, a truck, you know.
They just start vaping, like, uncontrollably. Their little, like, you know, the little neck that inflates? It's just full of, like, vapor. What? It wouldn't be smoke, whatever you and the other straights do.
It's the clouds, man.
Of course, it's full of just dank clouds. They just start making like little circles, you know, those little O's. And then the guy interviewing the frog is like, "All right, tight."
Sick. Oh, sick. Shit. That's
sick,
pretty
sick. Yeah, is that Fruity Pebbles? Nice.
Oh my god. Aaron and I and Chase Ross and maybe some other people, we were in a car back from the Philly Trans Health Conference in 2016, my first year going, and I went to stay in Canada with Chase after that, and we got stopped at the border, and they had to go through our entire car, and one of my bags was my vape, and so going through my bag, we were watching the border patrol women go through our stuff, and one of them picks up my vape and smells it, and then like looks over at the window and then puts it down. And so I think Aaron was the one that was like monologuing for her and said, oh, is that Fruity Pebbles? Sick,
nice.
Sick,
There's a
nice.
Strawberry. Fuck, I love that. Nice.
Fuck, I love that.
Sick mod you got on this. Nice.
What is that, like?
Coils, all right.
Yeah, 0.2 ohms. Damn, what kind of clouds you getting off that thing?
She just starts like flexing on you with like with vape knowledge.
She gets out her vape and like hits it, and then hits mine and sees how they compare.
Oh man, that was such a great time.
It's just one of the weirdest things to see the border patrol lady like smelling the mouthpiece of my vape. I'm sure that wasn't a good smell.
Yeah, and like, what did she expect to smell? Like, this smells like marijuana. It's like, it's not.
Yeah, even like the THC drops that you put in a vape doesn't smell like weed, so I don't know what she was expecting.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to just let my cat out of this room because I don't know if you heard him yell.
Yeah,
but we're in for a lot of that. Give me just a minute.
Sure, you're excused. Oh goodness, the adventures of the Border Patrol.
All right, cool.
Sick. So I would say that you know, if there's chemicals turning the frogs gay, then there's definitely chemicals that are turning people gay. Excuse me. And as we discussed earlier, it's Chemical X. It's the fucking, it all comes back to the Powerpuff Girls.
We've gone full circle.
Truly, the podcast is over. Thanks, guys.
Cue the outro. So what's the I feel like his name is just like Professorman or something really silly like that. Is that just like my 3-year-old brain being like, yeah, that was his name?
I have no idea. I have him in my mind as Professor X, which isn't right. Because I feel like that's an X-Men character.
Wait, what was the name that you had?
Professor X.
Oh yeah, that's from X-Men, yes. Hence the X-Men, Professor X. That was it.
He's kind of
I think it was something really like Professorman, like something like that. I don't know. Just take my word for it. This is the facts podcast, so
I believe you. I believe that's a fact.
So yeah, it's all because of that professor's fault. He's turning the frogs and the people gay. I got it. So are we all on a fast track to becoming Powerpuff women? Is that what's going on here?
We can only hope. I think it depends on what kind of water you drink. If you're drinking the frog water, yeah, be prepared.
Yo, joke's on you though. What if you just drink Monster Energy drink? Fucking saps the gay right out of you.
Seriously,
you
at me
become
next
like
time.
a dude, bro. At a frat party.
You're saying that, but I literally have like 2 empty Monster cans on my desk right now, and I have like. I'm that guy that gets the 15 pack from Walmart. I drink so much Monster, and I vape, and I'm still fucking gay. What am I doing wrong?
You're just trying to keep your family safe, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Coming for your brand. Your straight boy brand.
Exactly. Very, very true. There's
I was
also
just wondering if frogs were related to dinosaurs in any way.
Oh my god.
That's right.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's a common ancestor somewhere.
Yeah, and if all the frogs are women and they're able to reproduce according to the Jurassic Park logic. Do you see where I'm going here?
Wait. Bro, think about this. So, the dinosaurs... Oh, wait, no, that doesn't work. Because, okay, my whole theory was that, like, the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, like, evolved into the frogs that we have today that were able to, like, reproduce themselves. But then we used those genes to create the dinosaurs. But that would have had to be, millions of years ago. So that is not a fact. So never mind.
Unless. All right. We haven't considered time travel yet. Gay time traveling frogs. So.
Coming soon to TLC.
My gay traveling frog life. No, my gay time traveling frog life.
It's a docuseries. It's really emotional.
Emotionally charged.
Parentheses emotional. So yeah, there's definitely like the rainforest frogs that were able to self-reproduce. We took their DNA and we made dinosaurs because dinosaurs didn't exist before then. So just scrap all of that. Throw away your history books. This is the facts. We made the dinosaurs. Those dinosaurs had the frog DNA, which could self-reproduce and time travel. And they time traveled back, and they were the original dinosaurs. And so then we remade them, and we mixed in the DNA, and then they devolved into frogs that had the DNA, and it's just a cycle. There was no way of escaping that. So a lot of people think, oh, sorry.
I was just thinking, and they're the ones who planted all of that evidence in like the Egyptian pyramids and like the fossils we have today. It's all just like it's planted evidence so that we aren't on to the frogs and how they're actually running the show of modern civilization.
Very much so.
They just went back and they're like, well, how are we going to tell a story? It's like, I don't know, let's just draw it on these walls, and they're going to think that it's there. It only exists to tell them stories of the past. And they're like, wow, that's a great idea, Greg. You deserve. What's the word for promotion? I was going to say an upgrade.
You get a gay upgrade.
Yeah, so that's it. We've explained all of modern history. Why do you even go to school? You could just listen to this podcast. I don't know. You're just wasting your time, I guess.
But
my cat.
Unless the frogs were bionic, and then it really would be an upgrade because they're robots, and so they have to upgrade their software. And that explains why they're gay, because they don't have babies. They just fucking do robot stuff, and nobody knows how robots work, so that's a fact.
They just do robot stuff. They just make babies out of spare robot parts. Yeah, got it.
And dinosaurs. Done. The next fact that we can talk about is the gay gene, the queer gene, the LGBTQIA plus gene.
Yeah. I'm waiting. I haven't heard about this yet.
Well, some people think that like it being queer runs in the family, and so it's like a genetic thing, like deformity or something. So this also kind of ties in with the frogs, because they think that it's like a deformity that you drink this water and then your fucking genes splice Danny Phantom style, and now you're a gay frog.
Oh yeah, of course.
And so the gay gene is more like it's passed down through generations, and maybe it's recessive because it might skip a generation or something. We don't really know how it works. But what if the gay gene isn't a genetic gene so much as it is a denim gene?
A denim gene.
Yeah.
I see. All right. So I was a little ready for that. I was like, is it going to be like denim hot shorts or something? Like,
there you go. They're the cutoffs that everyone was wearing them in the 80s, and now look, all of their children are mostly gay. I just want to know if you hear the cat.
God, I don't know what to do. It's
He's
a very
fine.
small apartment. He's fine. Okay, because he's going to continue until he gets in here, but there's no guarantee that that'll solve the problem.
Yeah, because then he's just going to come in there and then continue to scream.
He could come in here and maybe sleep, or it could just get worse. So it's kind of up to you.
It's a toss. We don't know. Whatever you want to do, it's fine. I'm not too worried about the cat.
All right.
It's actually kind of funny.
You know what? Let me see if I could. Hang on.
Whatever you need to do, my man. So yeah, this is the part of the podcast where we test if a cat could wear jeans. Would it wear it like this or like this? And would it also be gay? Sorry, I was just trying to fill the space.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
So we were at the gay gene.
We were at the gay gene. Maybe it was more like Gene from Bob's Burgers. He could be gay. And maybe
there was something I wanted to say about the gay gene, but now I can't seem to remember. I don't know. Damn. There was a show. Danny Phantom has nothing to do with the gay gene. I'm a fucking liar. Danny Phantom. Have you ever actually heard the theory that Danny Phantom is a trans man?
I have seen it on Twitter, but I never looked into it. You can definitely explain that one to me.
All right. So, I'm gonna probably butcher this the facts, but something about how they never his chest looks kind of like it's like he's binding. So there's a little more tissue there than there are on all the other male characters in the show.
Huh.
And there are a lot of scenes where if he needs to change or if he needs to shower, he gets super nervous and basically wants to shower alone and will never really want to be seen changing in by another person. And
that
just a bunch of theories like that. There's more to it, but I don't actually. I was unprepared to present this kind of truth today, so
that's okay. I believe
his transformation. I don't know, being symbolic, something like that.
True.
Feeling like a. Oh! I remember. Okay, it's that when he turns into Danny Phantom instead of regular Danny. I forgot. Is that Fenton? Is that his name? I don't know. Fenton. Anyway, regular Danny versus Danny Phantom is that Danny Phantom is his like on T transitioned trans man version of himself, because he's a lot more muscular and his face is shaped a little differently and he's like super confident. And that character actually has a flat chest. But then when he goes back to being Danny Fenton, if that's his fucking name, he goes back to having like a bit of a larger chest and like a little smaller in like his frame and stuff like that. And yeah, those are...
Whoa.
That's the theory. Yeah.
That's the fact, is what it sounds like.
Fact, of course. Sorry, of course. The fact.
That's gnarly. That's pretty good.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I've also seen one that Spider-Man is trans, but I never like really looked into it. But I'm pretty sure it's like the same thing, where it's like he gets bit by a spider and that's him starting T, and now he's muscular and all this stuff.
Yeah. And he swings from webs as the rest of us do, yeah. Of course.
Which is actually pretty dope, because I've always been super into Spider-Man. Like, I'm not really a superhero kind of guy, but like as a kid I always loved Spider-Man. So like even in my room now, dope. I have all these like Spider-Man stuff. I don't know. But
Ty, are you coming out to Spider-Man? Is that what you're telling us?
I wish.
Ty Turner confirmed the next Spider-Man.
The next Spider-Man who's afraid of heights. Let's see how it goes.
That's him. I mean, that would make a great movie all on its own.
Yeah, I think so.
He'd be like, oh shit, I have to swing from this web. Nah, I'm just gonna walk. It's like,
Never
but
mind.
Spidey would be so much faster in your web. Nah, I think I'm just gonna walk. They'll be fine, I'm sure.
In Spider-Man Homecoming, when he's climbing like the Washington Monument or whatever the fuck he's climbing, I legitimately got anxiety during that scene. I was like, I don't think so. I don't think I can. I think we're gonna stop the movie, but I didn't, because I was at the theater.
Not to like go on a super tangent, but like, were you always afraid of heights, or is it more of a like as you get older it gets worse?
I think it's more as I get older, because I used to not give a shit about anything.
Yeah, same. I didn't give a fuck. I was just like, yeah, like heights, roller coasters, all this shit was fine, and now I'm like, hell no. Fuck that. I see someone else who's high up, like those first person shots, and you're like, no.
I think it's more like now I'm more aware of my mortality than I was as a child. And so like as a kid I was like, oh, I'm not going to get hurt. I'll always be okay because I don't get hurt. And now I'm like, oh, people get hurt very often in situations like much more mild than the situations that I put myself in. So I'm just going to like not take my chances.
Yeah, that like injury is not as uncommon as you think, and it just doesn't only happen to other people, but it could also happen to you, and you're like, nah, I'm all right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So horror movies.
Okay. That was actually a little bit before the break. I think we were on the gauging.
Yes.
But we can move on to that, and we can, I think, because we're about rounding up on our hour, so we could go into our last conspiracy fact, which is, of course, the queer agenda. The one that everyone likes to talk about, and that is that we are trying to do something. You can't deny that.
They're up to something.
Whether it is, basic human rights, healthcare, or taking over the world, it's hard to say. Yeah,
eradicating cis men. I think that might be the one on the agenda that I've heard of. If they just let everyone reproduce, something like that. I don't know. I actually read that was an actual thing that people believed. I'm going to sound super like cis normative right now, so just bear that in mind. So me basically quoting that basic idea is that they think if they allow women, because in their mind they're the only ones who have like uterus and non-cis male genetic material. So if they allow women to reproduce amongst each other, and meaning that they could only create more women, that eventually there will be no need for men and they'll be erased. Which again is kind of ignoring the fact like there are trans women and there are trans men, but like we're trying to put ourselves in their minds here.
Good. It's a lot like with the dinosaurs. What the dinosaurs were trying to do.
See,
it's all coming together now.
It's all connected. I want one of those charts with like a bunch of like red string going everywhere, like tied to different things, like a question mark and a face like kind of scratched out.
Yeah, Pepe Silva. It's like it's connected. There's like a Jurassic Park, and then like the frogs, and then the chemicals in the water. and the Powerpuff
Yeah.
Girls.
There's like a mugshot of a full fucking dinosaur with a tiny little plaque in front of it, like, connected to like the mayor of like Puffsville or wherever the Powerpuff Girls live. I don't know where they live.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's like at the top. He's like the mobster boss for all of it. I can see him being the mobster boss. I think it's because he's like, I don't know, he has like that bald head and a monocle, and I'm like, yeah, and like the mustache, I'm like, he means business.
Yeah.
He's out to like break some knees, you know?
He knows what he's doing.
He knows.
He'll curb stomp a cis het.
Yeah, like you don't want to cross him.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, thank you, Aaron, so much for being on this episode of the Conspiracy Facts podcast. You have made it a blast and a half. And
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me. I'm just here to spread some knowledge, you know?
yes, I think that we're all walking away from this feeling thoroughly enlightened. And yeah, I hope everyone listening enjoyed this. We're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. But before we do, Aaron, we have this thing on the podcast, which is our own conspiracy fact, which is that every 80s song that hit the billboards, top 100 billboards for every single year, played chronologically, tells the story of the Wizard of Oz. So before we go, what I would like us to do, if you don't mind, is to listen to a song and then sort of come back to the podcast and relay how that relates to the story of the Wizard of Oz.
I'm in it. I'm good with that.
Okay, so let me just do a quick Google search. And it looks like our song for today is going to be Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 by Plink Floyd. Just kidding.
American classic.
Plink
They're
Floyd.
not American, don't get me. Yeah, Plink Flied.
Plink Flied. Plink Plonk. Florp is who we're listening to. Pink Floyd, everyone. Okay. So if you want to cue that up, we're going to listen to that, and then we're going to come back to the podcast, and we're going to lay down the fucking facts for you guys. And we are back now to talk about Another Brick in the Wall and how it tells the story of the Wizard of Oz. So I think what really stands out to me is the line, all in all, you're just another brick in the wall. And I think this definitely has to relate to the brick house falling on the Wicked Witch of the West.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. I was going to go the route of being like, you know, the yellow brick road, maybe.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
That's a big thing, right?
Yes.
So
That's a very important thing. And of course,
it's like you have to follow the yellow brick road, but it's like if you're a brick in the wall, and that's a metaphor for like the yellow brick road, then you have to follow yourself, you know, like follow your heart and you'll find your way home. So yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's a fucking fact. Well, there you guys go. That's our podcast. Again, thank you, Aaron, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And of course, don't forget to check out that merch, check out that Patreon, and happy Pride Month, everyone. We will.
Happy Pride.
Well, I will not. Oh, okay, here. I will talk to you next week. Aaron will not, but I'm sure he'll be on an episode in the future because he really fucking killed it today.
Hey, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'd be cool.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Bye. Take care.